the international initiative We Start to Build the World Without War presents
The International Relay of Peace. Let's thank the world for Ukraine together.
The main event of the 2023 international project Alphabet of my country Ukraine.
The project was founded in 2012 to present Ukraine as a civilized European state by publishing books about Ukraine.
And all of this was with the active participation of children involved in writing their content.
The children who presented Ukraine in 2013 in Germany and at the level of the European Parliament promoting the ideas of peace and friendship between nations. And in 2014, they experienced the horror of the war for the independence of their motherland.
And we return to the studio Hromadsk. We have very interesting guests. We are talking about such an educational project. But at the same time, the alphabet of my country Ukraine is international and so positive. You live in Mykolaiv, and I was told that you were in a bomb shelter there. And tell me how it all happened. My mother and I were in the bathroom in the morning, and suddenly, there was such an explosion that the walls shook.
On my first day as Secretary General of the United Nations, one question weighs heavily on my heart. How can we help the millions of people caught up in conflict, suffering massively in wars with no end in sight? Civilians are pounded with deadly force. Women, children and men are killed and injured, forced from their homes, dispossessed and destitute. And even hospitals and aid convoys are targeted. No one wins these wars. Everyone loses. On this New Year's Day, I ask all of you to join me in making one shared New Year's resolution. Let us resolve to put peace first. And I appeal to you all to join me in committing to peace today and every day. Let us make 2017 a year for peace. Thank you.
Yes, the war is really terrible. So, having seen this horror with our own eyes, we decided with our friends to become the founders of an international peace initiative. We start to build the world without war.
A sufficiently interesting idea was at the heart of this peaceful initiative of Ukrainian children. To give children and adults from different countries a book that tells about Ukraine, with a proposal to get to know each other and start making friends. And all of this under the slogan, if the children from different countries start making friends from their childhood, they will be able to build a world where the terrible word, war, does not exist when they grow up.
That is why an updated version of The Alphabet of My Country Ukraine was published, with the participation of children from 10 regions of Ukraine. The content of this publication was translated into English not by the children who participated in the project but by professionals. Students of the Faculty of Foreign Languages of the Donetsk National University, who, after the occupation of Donetsk by the separatists, all moved to Vinnytsia.
And it's not a coincidence, but taking into account the fact that besides the stories of Ukrainian children about their motherland, this book also contained explanations of what is happening in Ukraine.
Our alphabet this time seemed larger. If the first edition was general, this time, it is readable. Readable because of its very interesting content. In addition to the general characteristics of Ukraine, which we supplement with explanations of what Ukrainians really represent, it is important to take into account the dirt that is currently pouring on our country from Russia. We also supplemented the content with our own conclusions about what is happening in Ukraine.
Here, it should be noted that despite the relevance and importance of this project in the conditions of hybrid war with its information technologies, Ukrainian politicians and authorities refused to support the project, which was quite difficult to explain. For this reason, the project was financed solely from the personal funds of its participants. There were partners who understood how truly terrible the war is.
We will talk about the situation in the Auto Zone, the feat of the defenders of the Donetsk airport, and the adopted law on the occupation of Donbas with Sergei Kovtun, a military expert.
Sergei Kovtun, a partner of the project from 2012 to 2014, a professional military expert, a retired lieutenant colonel. He has participated in combat operations in hotspots in various countries around the world. Finished his military service as the head of one of the departments of the External Relations Management of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Anatoly Tarasenko, a partner of the project from 2016 to 2018, a candidate in legal sciences, lawyer, human rights defender and public figure, president of the Attica Legal Corporation.
Проект, в якому приймають участь діти, це проект, який
A project that involves children is a project that I will always support.
це той випадок, коли
It's one of those cases where children's hearts, not yet engaged by politics, money, or borders, can do something in this world.
дитячі серця можуть щось зробити в цьому світі.
Dear friends around the world, Happy New Year. When I took office 1 year ago, I appealed for 2017 to be a year for peace. Unfortunately, in fundamental ways, the world has gone in reverse. On New Year's Day 2018, I'm not issuing an appeal, I'm issuing an alert, a red alert for our world. Conflicts have deepened and new dangers have emerged. Global anxieties about nuclear weapons are the highest since the Cold War, and we see horrific violations of human rights. Nationalism and xenophobia are on the rise, and as we begin 2018, I call for unity. I truly believe we can make our world more safe and secure. We can settle conflicts, overcome hatred, and defend shared values, but we can only do that together. I urge leaders everywhere to make this New Year's resolution. Narrow the gaps, bridge the divides, rebuild trust by bringing people together around common goals. Unity is the path. Our future depends on it. I wish you peace and health in 2018.
All Ukrainian campaign, let's thank the world for Ukraine together.
The campaign was initiated by the project in 2018 in response to the existing situation in the world and the new challenges and threats faced by Ukraine. This refers to another outbreak of the information war against Ukraine aimed at discrediting it in the world, using complex internal processes that have taken place in our country.
The purpose of the event was to prove to the world community that despite all the troubles on the difficult way to European life, Ukrainians are a civilized people who prove their ability to appreciate and thank for help. To thank by giving a book about Ukraine, created by Ukrainian children. And not only to children and adults from other countries but also to the leaders of the world community who supported Ukraine.
Ukraine may receive $300 million for the army, as the U.S. Senate has approved this decision as part of the vote on this year's budget. This means that Kyiv may receive funds for weapons, including lethal ones, as well as for intelligence gathering and military training. It is now up to President Barack Obama, as he will make the final decision.
Soundwavegram enables developers to synthesize a natural-sounding speech with dozens of voices, available in multiple languages and variants. It applies DeepMind's groundbreaking research in WaveNet and powerful neural networks to deliver the highest fidelity possible. Try right now.
Develop and adopt a new package of sanctions against Russia. The EU wants to curb Moscow's aggression against Kyiv.
The United Nations has started a food aid program in eastern Ukraine. This was reported on the website of the UN World Food Program, the largest division of the organization providing humanitarian aid.
Мы, как христиане, присоединились к этому проекту We, as Christians, have joined this project because its main goal is to promote peace worldwide, to call people to put an end to war. We want to say that no one ever thought that war would come to our country, to our city. But one day, it happened. And today, our daily prayers are for peace to be restored in our country.
И сегодня наши ежедневные молитвы о том, чтобы в нашей стране снова был мир.
Thank you for your prayers for peace.
The hospital has opened in the Donetsk region, restored with the help of the UN Development Program. The Japanese government allocated 7 million hryvnias for the repair of the medical institution in the city of Mykolaiv.
Our entire team of the Slovyansk Central District Hospital have decided to support the initiative of our children and become active participants in it. Therefore, we have decided to present this book about our country, on behalf of all the children of Ukraine, to the children of Japan. This is a gift to the children of the country whose government has felt the depth of the tragedy of our people, to the extent of wanting to help the citizens of Ukraine.
On the 30th anniversary of Ukraine's independence. All Ukrainian campaign, let's thank the world for Ukraine together.
The main event of the second stage of the international project Alphabet of My Country Ukraine and the International Peace Initiative we start to build the world without war.
The campaign during which a book about Ukraine created by Ukrainian children was given to children and adults of the United States, Germany, China, Poland, and Latvia.
And also international organizations, government institutions of individual countries, and Christian churches, whose activities are based on spreading the ideas of peace and friendship between nations.
And all of this is with gratitude for the support of Ukraine during difficult times of trials. And all of this is only possible thanks to the efforts of the project's participants and partners.
Mykola Tovstiak, project partner for 2020 to 2021. Retired Police Lieutenant Colonel, Chairman of the Trade Union of Employees, Police Officers, and Civil Servants of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine in the Kharkiv region. Deputy Chairman of the Public Association of Public Organizations.
We
call on all children of the world to unite in bringing peace to the earth, because adult politicians often do not understand. And even if they do understand, they very often do not keep their promises. And they forget the past, which was terrible for humanity, and even more for our Ukraine.
And how much the International Peace Initiative of Ukrainian Children and the Alphabet of My Country Ukraine project really deserved attention, and most importantly, was relevant, as Life showed on February 24, 2022.
My name is Margarita Kuchipetska. I'm from Kharkiv in Ukraine. I'm 15 years old.
This is the appeal of Margarita Pochepetska from Kharkiv, a participant of the International Peace Initiative of Ukrainian Children. We start to build the world without war. The appeal to the world community with a request for help, which was recorded in one of the bomb shelters in Kharkiv. In the early days of Russian aggression when this city was being destroyed by the aggressors' rockets.
The appeal, which was heard in different countries of the world against the background of similar appeals from other children and adult citizens of Ukraine.
Help us. Please help us.
Thus, the activity of the International Peace Initiative, We Start to Build the World Without War, has been continued under new conditions. And this time, it was continued with the support of the leader of the Humanitarian Volunteer Center, Second Front, Artem Vasilenko.
Смотрите, ребят, я вам расскажу про наш проект.
Guys, let me tell you about our project, the Alphabet of My Country Ukraine. The project started in 2012. It tells the world about Ukraine. And it is told by children who live in Ukraine. In Kharkiv, Kyiv, Lviv, Donetsk, and all over our country. Browse through it and take a look.
По всей нашей стране. Полистайте, посмотрите.
Now, as part of this Alphabet project, we are starting a new project with peace around the world. It is called We Start to Build the World Without War Together. What do you think about participating in this project?
Artem Vasilenko, the project partner from the first days of the Russian aggression against Ukraine in 2022.
the head of the Humanitarian Volunteer Center created under the Judo Federation of Kharkiv region, established in the first days of Russian aggression against Ukraine, the president of the Judo Federation in the city of Kharkiv, International Judo Master of Sports, the participant of the 30th Olympic Games in London, the winner of the World Championship, European champion, the coach of the Ukrainian junior judo team.
The International Relay of Peace, let's thank the world for Ukraine together. Which we plan to start on June 1st, International Children's Day in Berlin, with a series of events that involve handing over personalized gift copies of our publication with gratitude to the leadership of the Federal Republic of Germany for their help to Ukraine.
And of course, to Angela Merkel, who made maximum efforts to stop the active hostilities in Ukraine in 2014, which allowed our country to gain time to strengthen its own statehood and defense capability.
We should note that we are starting our International Peace Relay in Germany for a reason. In late April 2013, exactly 10 years ago, a delegation from our project visited Germany, which marked the beginning of the international activities of the Alphabet Project.
As a result, then we not only got acquainted with the German people but also laid the foundation for the development of our friendly relations, presenting a book about Ukraine published in German to individual German politicians, the Goethe Institute in Brussels, and of course to the citizens and children of Germany whom we met during this visit.
Why was the first book about Ukraine in our project published in German, you will ask?
Well, for the simple reason, the decision about which country to start our project with was based on researches determining which nation and state in the world citizens of various countries respect the most. So, it turned out that in 2013, Germany was the nation identified by the research, and therefore, the decision was made to release the first book of our project in German and to start our activity from Germany.
And we were convinced of how right that decision was after the start of the war in Ukraine in 2022. In our opinion, the scale of Germany's assistance to Ukraine is impossible to calculate in any financial equivalent. This help goes beyond the concept of finances, considering not only the immense financial, military, and humanitarian support provided by Germany to Ukraine, but also the care of over 1 million refugees from Ukraine at the expense of the state budget, who were not only provided with housing and money but even medical services.
In addition to this, there are the sanctions imposed against Russia, the losses from which the German economy has suffered disproportionately more than other states in the anti-Putin coalition. All of this, mind you, without taking into account any of Germany's own geopolitical or other interests, which overall makes it difficult to evaluate Germany's financial aid to Ukraine. This is the result of the humanity and compassion of the German people, for which we will be grateful to them starting from the 1st of June.
And after this, we plan to continue our international relay of Ukrainian gratitude to other countries of the world, which certainly deserve thanks for their help to Ukrainians no less than the German people.
So until August 23rd, that is, the Independence Day of Ukraine, which this year we plan to celebrate in the form of a campaign, Let's Thank the World for Ukraine Together, presenting on this day personal gift copies of our edition to the leadership of the United Nations and the United States of America.
Dear friends, leaders, adults, and children of the countries who are helping our country today to withstand this terrible war, thank you very much on behalf of all children and adults in Ukraine for your support.
And right now, we invite you to join our international relay of peace and Ukrainian gratitude, for which you need to do just a little bit. Just watch video messages of gratitude from all Ukrainians for your friendship and immense assistance. And of course, prepare to meet with participants of the International Peace Initiative of Ukrainian Children. We start to build the world without war in your countries. Friendly meetings where we will discuss international security issues together.
The author of the international project The Alphabet of My Country Ukraine, Alexander Pomytkin.
The author of the journalistic collection Organized Crime in Ukraine, The Professional's Point of View, and the novel Ukrainian Mafia.
The author of the literary and artistic collection War is Terrible, Anthology of Tragedy. The author of the international project Alphabet of My Country Ukraine, and the International Peace Initiative, We Start to Build the World Without War.
The author of the video journal, Absolutely Sincerely.
The author and director of the documentary video series, Putin's Russia.
The author and director of the video series about the war in Ukraine, about Ukrainian truth.